What's up, guys? It's Brian from Ashware Hub. It's about 10:36 p.m. Eastern Time. It is August 27, 2018, and we're coming to the brand new trading video. So if you're new to us, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, upvote, re-steam. If you're on DTube and steam it, would be most greatly appreciated. And yeah, hit that like button and comment as well. They all help us out immensely. So what happened? Market went up. We kind of released our triple B trade. I imagine our videos have zero impact on the market, but anyways, we so I don't think one is correlated with the other, but this arrow right here indicates the bar in which we got in, and this is the price 6,684. So the market's run up, let's say, for example, somewhere around 3%, right? From this level right here. Right now, I think it's a little bit lower than 3%, but it made it somewhere to about 3%. If I just look at this real quick and do a quick division in my head. So, yeah. So the what is it running up to? What is it running up against right now? Right now, we're looking at 4-hour basis, and it's really stopping at this 200 moving average. On a 1-hour basis, not so much. But really what it's showing is it's running right up against, well, it's easier to see on a 4-hour basis. It's running right up against the bottom of these candles right here. And that would make total sense, right? I mean, that's kind of where things, you know, it's the bottom of these candles. It's the top of these candles right here. It's the 200 moving average. You know, there's a lot of things kind of moving all in one direction. First of all. Second of all, we're going up, and clearly this market's in this downtrend, right? And for it to move up, it's now going to take a lot more work than it had in the past. As far as RSI is concerned, something just to look at real quick is that, you know, yeah, okay, we've moved up here a bit, but we're still not in this overbought territory. Another thing I want to show as well is that if you just look at things, if you just kind of scroll out, I like to do that quite a bit. If you scroll out and you just look at, you know, let's say this is the peak right here, and it is the peak, and we've sold off since then. The amount of times that the RSI is in this overbought position is relatively infrequent with regards to the amount of times RSI is in this overbought position, you know, prior to this peak. And it kind of flips, right? It flips at the amount of times that we're in this oversold position on the RSI is a lot more after the peak than it is before. And that's kind of another way of just taking a look to see what the general sentiment of the market is at any one point in time. It's not you know, an indicator, you know, a direct indicator, but it's just another piece of information. This whole huge puzzle. Another thing I want to mention real quick is, let me pull this out real quick. Is okay. So on a 4-hour basis, now these are shorts. This is from September of 2017. Yeah, September 2017, and look at this peak right here. Okay, this is the number of shorts. If I'm reading this properly, the number of shorts, and the last time it had this type of peak was around April of 2018. Okay, April of 2018. Right about here. Right. Let's get the exact date. I know, because people could have been like, oh, it wasn't the right date. April 11th, approximately. April 12th. So let's look at April 12th. April 12th right here. So, yeah, so that's when there was a peak of those shorts right there. And then we moved up. And we moved from, call it about 8,050 to a top of about 9,800. So quite a move, to say the least. Okay, obviously it's not a move like this, but it's a move up by really any measure. So just extrapolating based on that, we had we had basically a similar high, and here is where we stand right now. So there is time, there is more room for it to run down. Where is it going to run down to? I don't know. But I mean, you can kind of just extrapolate based on what's happened in the past, and kind of get a good idea. There's chances are that it'll run down lower. So what does that mean? People have to cover their shorts. How do they cover their shorts? They buy. Buying is going to add more pressure, more pressure for this to move up. Okay. On balance volume, look, it's been increasing, right? It's been increasing quite a bit. Let's look at this real quick, and let's say we started falling off here. So this was at, call it 20 o'clock on the 21st. Right here. Oh, sorry, 21st. Right about here. Okay? So, see on balance volume had his little run up here. It kind of came back down again, and then this moved back up. Now this correlates, this little bump right here correlates to this, right? Down, up, down. Pretty interesting, right? And that's a good way of measuring kind of the flow of what's going on right now. And so I'd imagine that the two of this is gonna kind of move in pretty lockstep. I think for the very near future. I mean, kind of within the next day or so. So I'd imagine that if the shorts are going to continue to move down, and in other words, cover, that this unbalanced volume may continue to move up, and therefore we're also going to be seeing pricing moving up too. But I do want to see it break past this 200-day moving average. It's a big psychological point, especially on a 4-hour basis, right? I mean, we haven't been over it for quite some time, right? Since beginning of August. So, a few weeks ago. And so I really want to see this kind of do some work to kind of jackhammer this away, and this continue to move up. So not only we're going to have to see the shorts being covered, but there's also going to have to be some volume going on. So in other words, some volume pickup. So how are we going to manage this, right? So let's say this entry is 6,684 on this triple B, and I'm probably going to have some title on this video that's basically clickbait, and I know it's going to be very unlike the type of titles that I normally have, which are really, really boring. People tell me all the time, well, you can get a lot more supporters if you just change your picture and your title. Well, yeah, absolutely. That just means I have to spend more time on doing this, which I don't already have. But although one of our objectives is to grow the channel, so I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll have to start doing that. But something like 3% in the past 24 hours on Bitcoin. Now 3% as far as a scalping or kind of like a day trade is an awesome percentage. It's quite an excellent percentage. And any day trader or scalper will probably tell you the same, first of all. Second of all, I don't know of anybody, and again, I don't really watch any of the other channels. I don't have time for it or anything else like that. But my gut feeling is saying that nobody else was really saying go in and buy, even though this is, like I mentioned before, this is a trade for me, and this is a very high-risk trade, okay? But I don't think anybody was really saying that they were going in and they were buying at that point. So I hope it is at least a bit of evidence and testament of the type of skill that we have. So now how do we manage this, right? I mean, really what we're talking about is one bar, right? I mean, really that's what this is all about, right? You can't really hang your hat on one bar. So let's talk about managing this trade. So entry of 6,684, daily resistance. Now look at this, okay? So I don't remember exactly where we came out with this video, but I imagine it was somewhere around this bar, and I do believe we came out with this, if I remember correctly, this daily resistance some time ago, whether it was a few days ago or something like that. So you can see how this is a very, very significant line right here, this 6,751. So we're going to turn this daily resistance to a daily support. Okay, the candle is still open, but I'm still gonna change it. 6,614 is really what we're talking about here. Uh, 6,614. Sorry about that. My keyboard. I need a new one. Okay, so we're not really using the daily support as you know, really much of anything. Well, let me get back to that in a second. The next thing I want to get into is the let's do the 4 hour. And it's gonna be let's do a 1 hour support. 1 hour support 6,819. So I'm gonna change this bar right here. Hold on a sec. 6,819. Let me just actually move this somewhere over here. Okay. Now, this 1 hour support, let me actually get to that in a second. Let me just type all this stuff up and then I'll get to everything. I think that's the best way to do this. Okay, so 1 hour support 6,819. 4 hour is going to be 6,649. Okay, now this is also temporary because the candle is also open on this, but it looks like it's going to be changing to 6,782. Okay, there's still about an hour and 10 minutes left on this, but so I'm going to change this one. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's a bit of a mess, but okay. Daily support 6,614. Candle still open. 4 hour support 6,649. Most likely that'll change to 6,782. In other words, we'll move up to 6,782 as long as this kind of red bar doesn't fall down too much. And 1 hour support of 6,819. How do you play this? Okay, how do we play this? Originally, we had the stop losses somewhere around this level right here of 6,350. Okay, and so that gave us a hold on a sec. Oh man, close enough. Okay, so originally, you can look to put this anywhere as far as your stop loss is concerned versus where your target is. Okay, right now, you can say that the tops of these candles is something to go for. That originally would have been basically kind of where we were targeted. It's going to give you a risk reward ratio of about 1.48. That's kind of on a longer term type of trade, something that's you're going to be holding this for a few days, If you're kind of just scalping this or day trading it, clearly, obviously, you're not going to be going for something like that. Your stops closely would have been closer, somewhere around like this, and you would have been looking for something like this. So a better risk to reward ratio, somewhere around the 2 range, which is fairly good. So now what we're talking about is where to go ahead and put these stop losses. Okay, you can put it at this 4-hour level of 6,649. Okay, now it's going to give you a small loss of of basically, let's call it $40, right? After slippage and all sorts of other stuff, right? Let's just call it $40 between friends. Now you can also be less aggressive and do this around the 6,819, or you can be very aggressive and do it around the 6,614 level, right? Or you can be even more aggressive and say, something, I'm going to pull it at the bottom of this candle, somewhere around slightly below this bottom of this candle, around the 6,540 level, even a little bit below that. Now, the past, when we've gone ahead and done triple B trades, we've been super aggressive, where basically we would just keep this right here around the 6,350. In other words, our stop loss is around 6,350. So you can really do whatever you like. Now, I really don't want you to do anything, because you weren't supposed to be in this trade, because this trade was supposed to be for me, and this is a very, 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 very risky trade. However, I do want to show you guys how at least we're thinking through it. Now, another approach could possibly be you take something off the table. Take something off the table now. You totally could do that. You could take something off the table now, right? Book the profit and say, something, I think this is going to correct hard, and maybe it'll correct to somewhere around this 4-hour support level, 6,649, right? Or maybe a little bit higher. And maybe try to buy back some of it, and in order for it to continue to run up, depending on what your conviction is, depending also what your Elliott count is as well. And that's what also Elliott wave counting is very, very good for, to kind of put a general framework around this to say what could possibly happen. Okay? So that is the basic way in which we are thinking about this. And it's really up to you. Now, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to take a little bit something off the table. And let's just call it somewhere around now. Okay, let's call it 6,870, right? Let's just call it that level. This is just right now. $6,870. Okay. So let's say we took off half of our profit, half of our position right now at 6,870. The rest of my position, I will go ahead and I will get out of somewhere around this 6,649. Okay. So let's just call it like that for right now. Worst case scenario, I pick up some money, right? Not too bad. The better case scenario, we can let this thing run a little bit, right? So that's it for right now. Yeah, happy trading. Speak to you guys soon.